cellular adult communication unit interference topic. Today we discuss about the topic of the types of non-co-channel interference. The types of non-co-channel interference. Here, before going to the non-co-channel interference, the first we have to discuss what is the co-channel. Co-channel is nothing but same set of frequency used at different cells. There are two cells called the co-channels, and interference coming from between these two cells called the co-interference. This co-channel interference can be occurred. Co-channel can be occurred either increase the high, increasing the transmit power. We discussed previous classes based on co-channel interference, how to rectify the co-channel interference, and how to design antenna systems. Today we discuss about the topic non-co-channel interference. What is meant non-co-channel? That is, the two cells are using different frequencies in the cell sites. The two cells are called non-co-channels. Non-co-channels. Here we discuss about the first type of non-co-channel interference is adjacent channel interference. Adjacent channel interference. What is adjacent channel? That is, the two cells having one by one. We have to assume that K equal to 7. That is, 1 and 2 cells are adjacent cells, right? 1 and 3, and 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6, 1 and 7. These are the adjacent. That is, we are in different frequencies at the base stations. That is called the adjacent channels. Here the interference coming by this adjacent is called the adjacent channel interference. Adjacent channel interference. How can it be reduced? How can it be reduced? First one is channel assignment. Nothing but frequency assignment in a proper way. We'll discuss about this channel assignment or frequency assignment in the 4th unit. No problem. What is meant by channel assignment? What is meant by frequency assignment? We discuss in 4th unit. Right? And second one is filter characteristics. How to overcome what the other different types of filters we can use to reduce this adjacent channel interference. Next one is reduction of near and far end interference. We discuss later slides what is meant by near and far end interference. That is, there are 3 methods are reduced the adjacent channel interference. That is, proper channel assignment or frequency assignment. Second one is filter characteristics. The third one is reduction of near and far end interference. Right. Again, how many types of adjacent channel interference? There are 2 types of adjacent channel interferences. The first one is next channel interference. The second one is neighboring channel interference. Let's move to the types. The first one is next channel interference. Next channel interference. Here, what is meant by next channel interference? Right. Suppose already discussed about in first unit AMPS concept. The number of channels are 666. Suppose in that from 1 to 666, the channel 1 is allocated to cell 1. The same channel 1 allocated to cell 2. It is improper design, improper allocation. At that time, the same channel can be utilized by 2 cells. At that time, we are getting next channel interference. That is the thing, but right. Next channel interference will arrive at the mobile unit from the other cell sites if the system is not designed properly. If the design of a system is not properly. That is, mobile unit initiating a call on a control channel in a cell may cause interference with the next control channel at the other cell site. That is, the same setup channel or control channel utilized by the both 2 cells. For this, we have to use a better filter to reduce this next channel interference. Second one is neighboring channel interference. Neighboring channel interference. What is neighboring channel interference? The channels which are several channels away from the next channel will cause interference with the desired signal. Nothing but already discussed about this topic in first unit, right? Here what is mean neighboring channel. Suppose how many set of channels for each transmitter? One set of channel plus 15 voice channels. 15 voice channels for each transmitter. So allocated channel number 1 for voice channel, right? So another mobile in the same cell are also trying for channel 1, or that we are getting channel interference. That is called as a neighboring channel interference. That is within the same cell trying to bring same channel in a fixed set of channels, right? Or that we are getting neighboring channel interference. We'll discuss about what is meant a fixed set of channels in fourth unit. If all the channels are simultaneously transmitted at one cell set antenna, a sufficient amount of band isolation between channels is required. A sufficient amount of band isolation between channels is required for a multi-channel combiner to reduce intermodulation product. This is the best one, right? Next we have here, this is about the first one. What is the first one here? The first one is adjacent channel interference. Again, there are two types of adjacent channel interferences. The first one is next channel interference. The second one is neighboring channel interference. How to reduce this adjacent channel interference? The adjacent channel interference reduced by channel assignment or frequency assignment, filter characteristics, and reduction of near and far end. This is the first type of non-co-channel interference. Next, we have to move to the second. The second type of non-co-channel interference is near and far end interference. We'll discuss what is meant by near end, what is meant by far end. This is depends on signal strength. Depends on signal strength. There are two types of near and far end interference. First one is in one cell. Second type is in cells of two systems. In cells of two systems. First, we have to discuss the in one cell how near and far end interference occurs. Right. The first one is in one cell. Right. Here in one cell, the car phones nothing but mobile phones. Why are you using the term car here? Mobile one. Your mobile is moving from one place to another place. That is called, instead of mobile phones, a term is called as a cars are usually moving. Some mobiles are car phones, which is near to cell site, and some mobile phones are far from the cell site antennas. Whenever the mobile unit or car phone, whenever the mobile unit is a car phone, which is near to the base station or antenna, it get a high signal strength compared to far one. Right. Suppose the mobile unit has a strong signal which can causes adjacent channel interference. In this situation, we are getting near and far end. Now I have to go for one figure. Based on a figure, I am explaining what is meant by near and far end in a one cell. See this one. Here in one cell, this is a big circle here. The big circle is the cell coverage boundary. This is inside center one has small circuit. This is nothing but cell set or base station. Cell set or base station. Suppose you have to assume that two mobile unit. That is mobile unit A, or second one is mobile unit B. The mobile unit A is which is mobile unit B is away from the or far from the base station antenna. The distance between mobile unit A to base station is D1. The distance between mobile unit B to base station is D2, D1 and D2. Now check same antenna which we are using, right? Here, what is the signal strength for this mobile unit? We are getting high. That is which is nearer to the cell set or base station antenna. Whenever here the cell set or base station for B from to B is somewhat less signal strength. Somewhat that is called the near end. This is for far end. Near end, far end. Two different types of signal strands. For near one, we are getting more signal strength. For far one, high signal strength. It is one cell. Next, we have to go for the second type of near end far end interference system is in cells of two systems. In cells of two systems, right? In previous, we have considered only within a cell how interference occurs. That is based on near and far. In cells of two systems, that is we have considered two adjacent cells and how the interference occurs. The frequency channels of both cells of two systems must be coordinated in the neighborhood of two system frequency bands. Nothing but here, see this figure. From this figure, I am explaining. See this one. Assume that two cells. Assume that two cells. This is a cell 1. This is a cell 1 or cell set A. This is a cell site B. Numbering here, cell set A, cell site B. This is the coverage radius for the cell boundary of a system A. Cell boundary of system A. This is for cell boundary of system B. System B. This is the cell set antenna A. This is the cell set antenna B. Right. See this one. See this one. Here, the mobile unit A, which is belong to cell set A, but it is border of the cell boundary of system A, which receives the signal from cell set B instead of cell set A. In original, without this system B, must and should the cell side mobile unit A, which receives the signal from here to here, but it is available. The mobile unit is in cell system A, and this one I'm going to receive the signal from here instead of this. Similarly, the mobile unit B, this is the signal originally from cell side B, but instead of this one, this is the signal from cell side A because of nearer to this one. Nearer to this one. That is from this concept here. This is the near end. This is the near end. Near end. That is the moment to be nearer is cell site A. That's why it is nearly we have taken the signal. Here also near end. We are not considering far. That's why it is a far end. Right. Here that is the mobile unit A can be located at the boundary of its own home cell A in a system A, but very close to system B. Right. This is called as a interference. Now we are getting interference. Instead of taking from this to here, we are taking signal from cell site B. That is a problem occurs. This is about near end, far end interference. How to avoid this? How to avoid this near end, far end interference? The near end mobile units are the mobile units which are located very close to the cell site. The mobile units transmits with the same power as the mobile units which is far away to the cell sites. How to overcome this problem? Whenever the mobile is nearer to base station or from the base station, master should give the same power for all one. Then only you have to rectify this problem. Let D naught is the distance between a calling the mobile transmitter and base station receiver. D1, the distance between mobile transmitter causing interference in the receiver. What is my D naught? What is my D1? D naught is the distance between a calling mobile transmitter and a base station receiver. That is transmitter part. I am suppose calling, and from signal goes the distance between myself with a mobile unit to base station is D naught. The D1 is or DI is the distance between mobile transmitter causing interference in the same base station receiver. What's interference coming? Now what is the distance? The next we have to calculate near and far end ratio, which is equal to Di or D1 by D naught. Right. This is about how to avoid near and far end interference. Here, what is the near and far interference? It depends upon the signal strength and transmitted power. And there are two types of near and far interference. That is in one cell, and the second one is in cells of two systems. This is about how to calculate C by I ratio. C by ratio. See this one before. Now we are calculating, right? What by D1 or what by D0? Here C invert from this figure the original location of the transmitting antenna, right? This is the D0 from far distance. This is the D1 for near distance. Near distance is 0.25 miles. D0 is the 10 miles. Based upon this, we are calculating C by ratio equal to D by D0 power of minus gamma L. Gamma L, you know, 4. D0 is nothing but far distance. D1 is nothing but near distance. This concept we have to calculate C by ratio. When C by ratio greater than 18 dB, perfect system. Whether less than 18 dB, it is not a perfect system. Let's move to the third type of non-co-channel interference. Third type of non-co-channel interference is interference between systems. Interference between systems. That is, especially this type of interference coming under cities. There are two types of interference between systems. First one is in one city. The second one is in adjacent cities. In one city, first one. The second one is in adjacent cities. First, we have to consider in one city. Consider in one city. City is nothing but how many number of base stations? In city, number of base stations are available because the number of customers are increases. Automatically, we want to use more number of cells. Sorry, more number of channels by the concept of cell splitting. That is, more number of base stations are available. This first one city. In one city, there are using two cell sites. In the two cell sites at different locations. This is for cell site A, which is the boundary of cell site A. Next, we are using cell site B. This is the boundary of cell site B. This is mobile unit B. This is mobile unit A. How interference occurs? This is only single city. In this city having two base stations. That is cell site A, cell site B. This is the boundaries of stations, and we had assumed the two mobile units, the mobile unit A and mobile unit B. How interference occurs? Right. Consider two systems A and B operating in a particular city. A call is being initiated through a system A, and the mobile unit of system A is closer to the cell site of system B. Here, see this one. This is the system A mobile unit, which is nearer to cell site B, but which receives the signal from both cell site A and cell site B. Whatever from near, we have to receive the signal. From far, we have to receive the signal. That is, at the same time, we have to receive the signals from the two base stations, cell site A and cell site B. But the strong signal is cell site B. Why? Which is near to cell site B. Right. Here, but we have to consider, we have to take two signals, but we have to finally consider signal from cell site B only because of strong signal from cell site B that is nearer to this one. That's why you have to consider this one. But once the call is made, some interference occurs due to the cell site A signals. That is called the crosstalk. It's called the crosstalk. Right. How this crosstalk can be reduced? What do you mean by crosstalk? Crosstalk is nothing but a background. Crosstalk is nothing but a background noise generated. Here, then that background noise can be considered as a vehicle noise. So once your call made, you have to talk. Your call is running or progress. Background some vehicles are going. That is very nice. And sometimes another call can be interfere to you. That is some problem. How to reduce this crosstalk? By locating all the cell site in two systems together. Maximum, the both stations are together. Avoid the usage of adjacent channels at each interference of newly allocated voice channels between two systems. That is the thing, but this is the topic of how channels are allocated. At the minute, channel assignment. We'll discuss it. Fourth in it by clearly what is meant by frequency management, what is meant by channel assignment, and how channels are allocated, whether it is fixed or dynamic manner, whatever we'll discuss in fourth in it, no problem, right? Next, the second type here, in adjacent cities. Adjacent cities, right? How interference occurs in adjacent cities. Two systems operating at the same frequency band in two adjacent cities or areas may be interferent with each other if they do not coordinate their frequency channel use. Nothing but in adjacent cities, suppose I had to consider two twin cities. Suppose I assume that Hyderabad and Secunderabad are twin cities. These two cities operating in the same frequency band, but number of transits are high. At that time, we are getting without proper frequency management and channel assignment, we are getting channel interference. Here, a single base station is not possible to cover both twin cities. At that time, we have to use number of transmitters are used, right? See this one. This is about a twin city. Suppose I assume that this is the Hyderabad city. This was Secunderabad city, right? The boundary of these two cities is the CGSA. The boundary of two cities is CGSA. CGSA is nothing but cellular geographical service area. Cellular geographical service area. This is just we have to give border within these twin cities or adjacent cities. Here, how calls can be made between these twin cities, right? Right. Here, the operational frequencies first we have to consider. What is meant by operating frequencies and how allocated operating frequencies. Here, the frequencies are used in one city should not be used in the adjacent city. First precaution we have to take. If the frequency F1 used in automatically in Secunderabad we are using frequency F2. Right. Next, this arrangement is useful only for two low capacity systems. That is, we have to decrease the capacity. How decrease the capacity? Instead of using more and more base stations, we have to use less number of transmitters. Next, second one. If the both systems are high capacity, that is both the Hyderabad system capacity and Secunderabad system capacity is high, of changing the capacity, decreasing at a height automatically reduce the interference. Next, third one is directional antennas are used for better. Right? And how to overcome this problems in two cities? Better to use two different frequencies in the systems, not two cities. And if both systems are high capacity, we have to increase the antenna height. That's why see in series fixing base station height is maximum. It is using a stair or 3 links only. Fixing the antennas. This problem. We had used the instead of to use directional antennas. It is better to reduce the interference between systems. Right. Between systems are reduced by only three methods. Usage of same frequency, usage of saving instead of any two adjacent cities, and reducing antenna heights, and using directional antennas for low capacity systems. Next, the fourth type of non-coaxial interference, that is long distance interference. long distance interference in terms of thousands of miles. However, this will affect the propagation of signal in different areas. It depends upon different geographical. And there are two types of long distance interference. The first one is over water path. The second one is over land path. Over water path. Second one is over land path. Here in over water path, first we have to assume over water path. If I am giving some of the examples, I am giving in where over water path interference occurs. Only this is the based upon some experimental methods I am taking. I am giving this one to you. The first example for over water path. Here the frequency used at base station is 1.5 GHz. The distance between base station to mobile station is 41 miles. That is, in base station and mobile station distance is 41 miles. In between these two having one of the river is there. Another river. Here, where exactly is in the Massachusetts Bay. Name of the ocean is Massachusetts Bay. Right here in this, where is the 1.5 GHz? The distance of operating path here 45 high ducts. Low ducts anything but less than 50 feet thick. That is from the above the have to calculate 50 feet thick. We are getting some interference occurs. After 50 feet to less than 100 feet, we are getting high ducts. Already you know how interference occurs through water in the second unit. Due to water, how interference occurs. I think in assignment also, last question also you have studied how the interference occurs due to water. The second example over water is right Charleston, South Carolina, Dayton Beach in Florida. In Florida, right, a Charleston, one city, and South Carolina is another way. Another city. In between these two cities, have a Dayton Beach. Dayton Beach is there in Florida. The maximum distance between the Charleston and South Carolina is 275 miles. And the operating frequency in between 812 to 857 megahertz. Here also we are getting some interference problems due to water. Right. Next one is over land path. Over land path, that is base station, mobile station is land. There is no problem. Here we are getting tropospheric. We are getting tropospheric kind of a long distance, about 200 miles. Due to number of reflection, number of diffraction, number of scatterings, so on, so many we are already studying second unit. Over land path, how to calculate this interference, right? Right. Here today we discuss about the topic of the types of non-coaxial interference. We discuss about first one is adjacent channel interference. Second one is foreign. The third one is interference. The fourth one is over long distance. These are four types of non-coaxial interference. In some textbooks, they are given UHV TV transmitter interference also, but no, there is no need for UHTV. This 4 is enough for you, right? And discuss already how to overcome this interference also. What are the precautions we have to take, right? Thank you very much for attending today's class. Do you have any query? Type your query in a chat box.